Howdy, hi friends! Welcome back. I'm Sarah. I own a small handmade business called Sarah and Sybil. I sell on Etsy, and last year I started going to in-person craft markets. And when I was prepping to go to my first market, I found a lot of content creators that film market prep vlogs or market day of vlogs, and I really enjoyed watching them and enjoyed it so much that I decided to try it myself. So I filmed, well, let's back up. I went to 4 spring markets this season, and I filmed market prep and day of stuff for 3 of the 4 markets. But most of the markets were like back-to-back weekends, and between prepping inventory and making sure everything was put together and momming and the end of the school year and like all that stuff, it was really hard to also learn how to edit videos in that time. So I have all of that footage, but what I decided to do, instead of editing all of those and uploading them because they're a little bit older, I'm gonna do one spring market season recap. So that's what we're doing here today. So I wanted to talk about what I wanted out of the season, what I got out of the season, how I was prepping in between, things that I would do differently, kind of general takeaways for what I learned, what I would do differently, what I liked, what I would keep, all the things. So I have some inventory here that you can't see right now, but it's here. I have a list, and I'm gonna go over the inventory that I took, and then I'll talk about how it did overall and how that varied from market to market, and then just general takeaways from each market individually as well as the season overall. So let's get started. So the first thing I wanted to talk about were girls' crocheted bags, like little crocheted purses. I took a few patterns. This one is a daisy purse pattern from 2 Little Knots. These were my most popular bag for the fall markets and the winter market that I went to last year. They were not the most popular this year, but historically they were popular. I did still sell some. The next bag that I took is the flowers and fringe bag. The pattern is from Eat, Pray, Crochet. I took these in lots of colors, and I took some where the flower was a color, the outside was white, and then the fringe matched the flower. And I also took some where the whole thing was white, but the fringe was kind of like rainbow. The ones where the fringe was a color sold best overall, but these still sold like this, just all one color. This was a good bag. I do charge a little bit more for it because it takes so much more yarn, but it was good. People still bought it. They liked it. The fringe, I mean, put fringe on anything and I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's the one. So the next bag I took was the Reagan Biddy bag, and the pattern is from Pretty and Pate. This was the most popular bag I took this year. I sold at least one of them, I think, at every market I went to. So I highly recommend this pattern. People really loved it. I did, like, this one has sparkle yarn. This one is plain. This is bright white. Typically, when I'm using a worsted weight yarn, I go for Hobby Lobby's. I love this yarn. It's my favorite. This is white. I also have ivory, and I would pair ivory with some of like the dustier colors, and that looks really nice too. They all sold well. So I also had some miscellaneous bags where I didn't have a pattern for it. I just kind of wung it. I sold some of them didn't sell. Yeah, you try, you win some, you lose some. So those are the ones that did really well consistently. So the next thing I want to talk about is tooth fairy pillows. So this is the first time I had taken tooth fairy pillows. So I embroidered the front. Let's see if it'll focus on I embroidered the front, the cheeks are felt, and I hot glued on the sparkles. And then on the back, there's the little pocket for the tooth, and this is elastic. So it can go around a doorknob really easily. And I did the ribbons on the top. I had a rainbow. I had a variety, a lot of different colors. Pink, purple, and blue sold the best. Yellow seemed to do, like, I still have both yellows left over. I think I only had 2 and I have 2 left over. So if you want to do those are the colors that were really popular. I don't have a pattern for that. It's one that I just made up. The next thing is mushroom rattles. So this is a granny square mushroom, and the pattern is from Sister Stitch Co. So mushroom rattle, I put some stuffing, rattle stuffing in the stem. These were really cool. They were, I definitely sold some. The red and white was the most popular. I did sell some of the scrappy ones, but I think in the future, like if I get inspired to do a scrappy one, I would definitely do that. But in the future, I might stick to just like 2 colors, like a dark green and white, red and white, pink and white. So like I might try that this time, but they sold well. I was happy with how these did. They're really fun to make. They're pretty easy to whip up. They don't take a lot of stuffing, so it was easy for me to kind of take them on the go. And they're really easy to batch work. So I made like a bunch of stems, and then I made a bunch of tops, and then I was just able to put them together really fast. So I like this one. This is a good market prep one if you're looking for just something different and that's like efficient. This is a good one. Okay, so next I want to talk about hair accessories. So I had small bows on headbands, and these also wrap really well around a ponytail. So they kind of do double duty. You can get multiple seasons out of them. They last a long time. Trying to get it to focus. Okay, so let me show you all I had. Okay, so I had the headband ones. I had ones on a clip. So those are the small bows. I also had large bows on a headband and large bows on a clip. I had a mix of plain fabric and patterned fabric in a variety of colors. And I also had fabric scrunchies. These are a little smaller, so they're more for young girls, or if you have thin hair, like I love to do it in a half up, which I'm wearing a bow today, but I love to use these for half up for myself, or if you have a hard time keeping hair ties in your hair, having them a little bit smaller works well. I also had crocheted scrunchies, and these are just around a typical hair tie, so that's the how big they are around. Also, I don't know, I got colorful hair ties, which was fun. This one's brown because it's like a yellow, but I tried to match the hair tie to the yarn that I was using, and that was really fun. Okay, so let me tell you about displaying the hair bows and the scrunchies, because it really made a huge difference in the way they sold. Okay, so last year I had only fabric scrunchies, and I had them in this one big basket, and it was like a lot of colors. I sold none. Then this year I had the fabric scrunchies and I had crocheted scrunchies, and I put them in a tiered stand, and I put, like, you know, all the crocheted ones on top and all the fabric ones on bottom, or it might have been vice versa, whatever. I sold so many, both fabric and crocheted, a lot of crocheted. But people could see them a little bit better. I think it was less overwhelming to have so many in one space. And these are plain, which is nice. I don't really think I had any plain fabric scrunchies. They're mostly, this was kind of a scrap buster for me. So if you're looking for something to take up your scrap fabric, scrunchies and bows are great for that. So at 3 of the markets, I had them in the tiered stand. They did much better. The last market I went to, I had less space, so I had them on, it's like a coffee mug tree. So I put them on there, and I sold none. So take that information and do what you will with it. But that's how that kind of worked out for me. Now, the hair bows. Last year, I put them on these cards, and they went into an acrylic holder that I think was intended for nail polish organization. So that's kind of what it looked like. It had, you know, several shelves, and these would sit inside. Okay. I sold bows last year, but not like an earth-shattering amount of bows. And part of the issue, I think, was that, so when you put it in the acrylic holder, it does this. And you can't really tell what all the patterns and colors are. And so I think they just weren't as eye-catching. So this year I made, well, my husband made these panels that were picture frames that didn't have glass or anything in them, and put chicken wire in, and then I would clip the bow to the chicken wire so people could create their own sets. And I offered them buy 3 get 1 free for the large bows and the small bows. So people could create their own sets. They would bring them up to me. I would put it on a card, and then I would put it in their bag. I sold so much more when I did that. Like, to the point where I don't know if it's even worth taking these if I can't display them in a similar way. It takes up a lot of space on my table. I like the way it looks, but if I have less space, I need to figure out kind of a smaller condensed version. Maybe the answer is just smaller picture frames. I don't know. But I just wanted to let you know that the way these were displayed made a really, really big difference. And it was the same with the bags. So I have a rolling clothing rack that's very large. It's maybe 4 or 5 feet wide, and it has 2 bars. Okay. So they hang on there. There's like little white clips on it. These hang on it. So when the wind blows or whatever, they kind of like move around. They catch people's eye. When that rack is close to the front and people see it as they're walking by, these sell significantly better. I tried them, so they were kind of tucked into the side. They sold, but not really, really well. I tried like a kid's coat rack that has the different pegs. They sold, but not really, really well. So I think that's a good option to display them. Like, I thought it looked cute. People, you know, it still got people's attention, but that clothing rack where they can kind of like move around, especially if you're outside, really catches people's eye. That's when I sold the most of the bags. Next is crowns. Okay, so fabric crowns. Fabric crowns is kind of what Sarah and Sybil is known for. They are unique. I don't know of anybody else in my area that sells them. They are the bread and butter of my business on Etsy. But, and it's a big but. So most people purchase these on Etsy and they have a name embroidered on a plain fabric crown. They really like that they're personalized. I do sell a lot of gold plain fabric crowns online. That's my best seller. I take patterned fabric and plain fabric. I'm just not going to dig it out right now. I take plain fabric ones as well. These do not sell well in person. And I think for the most part, it's because you have to have like an event in mind. Typically, some kids are just really into dress up and they love these. Like, people send me pictures of their kids that have taken their crowns, you know, all over the place with them, and I love to see it. It's so cute. But a lot of times people buy these for photo shoots, for birthday parties, and I think they're really fun. I like to make them. I think it sets my booth apart to have crocheted and sewn items, but they are not a bestseller. I will continue to take them because they're kind of my vibe, but if you're looking for something to add, I don't know if this is the way to go, unless, which I'm not going to do this because it's just not the way I want my business to go, but if you want to take like dress up items, like the wings, the capes, the crowns, the wands, the whole bit, I think that would do so well. I haven't seen anybody doing that. I think it's such a cute idea. And then things like this might do a little bit better if that's like the whole thing is that. I think that's great. But I hand out a lot of cards so that people can get online and order when it's closer to a birthday party or as a gift and they want to embroider. I take custom orders at the market, and I do that at a discount. So if somebody wants a personalized one, they can go ahead and place the order that day. I ship it to them. So if you do custom orders, I would highly recommend having a sign that says, if you want to place a custom order today, you can get it for, like $2 off, $3 off, free shipping, whatever it is. That will incentivize people to go ahead and place their order with you that day. Because if you say, I would love to make this custom thing for you, here's my information, they're gonna forget. They're gonna get, I'm gonna do a whole video about Etsy, but they're gonna get on Etsy and they're gonna Google search personalized birthday crown, and they're gonna get a million different people that sell the same thing you make, or they will be suggested something from another maker. So if you can get them to place that order that day, that's obviously best. It's a sure thing. If they walk away with your information, they may still absolutely come to you. You've created a relationship with them. They may come right back to your shop, but they might forget. They might see something else, and you might lose that sale. But that's okay too. It's okay to change your mind as a customer. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm not like upset with people that don't come and order from me when they said they would. Like, I don't keep track. It's okay. So I just wanted to say that. But yeah, crowns, I take them. I usually sell 1, 2, 3, not a bunch, not enough to sustain me on just this alone. Okay, so now I want to talk about crocheted, amigurumi, plushies, those things. So I took pillows. I'm calling this a pillow, but so I had 5 of these at the beginning of market season. 1 fell off my rack onto a dirt floor, and so that's ours now. And then this is the only other one I have left. They did not sell until the very last market that I went to. And what's funny is I took them just in case I needed like filler. I didn't put them out in the display. Initially, I sold some things, I put them out, and 2 sold. So that was exciting. This is going to go to a store on consignment. They typically do better at the store where I take things. This is 2 little knots. This is a bow. In case you couldn't tell, it's a bow. So this pattern is from Pretty and Pate. This is the mini bow. When you get the pattern, you get the large size bow and you get the mini bow, okay? I started a large size bow in Big Twist Posh, and guess what they have stopped making? Big Twist Posh. And so I haven't been able to finish it. Maybe one day if they ever bring it back, I'll be able to finish that bow pillow. But when I made that, it was really big. It would not have been very accessible. I would have had to charge a lot of money for it. So I made some of the mini ones. I didn't sell a single one. They're really cute. I love them, but they didn't sell. So probably not great for markets, but I think they look really cute on like my daughter's bed. Her little animals lay on them. Honestly, they're like a nice neck pillow. So like, do with that information what you will, but I didn't sell any of these. I did sell some of these. Okay, bees. This is a sitting bee. He's very cute. I also made, I don't have any left, but they were a little bee with tiny wings. I made it very small. It was like about as big as an egg. And I sold all of them. I didn't have very many, but they did all sell. I had 4 of these. I have 1 left over. I started taking them to the 3rd market that I went to. So they only went to 2 markets. I only have 1 left over. I think they're really cute. It was really fun to do a little bee assembly line. This is another one that is like pretty easy to take on the go because you can do the body without finishing it, have all the parts. So it's like a good batch working one. So I highly recommend bees. This is a free pattern that I will try to link below. I cannot remember the maker's name. Caterpillars. This is something new to me this year. I really wanted to try to make a pattern. So I made caterpillar and I made snail. This is the snail. I don't have any other snails left over. I had a single snail because I just kind of came up with this pattern not that long ago. So I only was able to make 1 snail. I took it to 1 market and it was like the first thing that sold. So I will definitely be making more of these. I usually use safety eyes on the snails. I've also done safety eyes on the caterpillars. This one has embroidered eyes. I still think it's cute. Some of the caterpillars I took were like each bauble was a different color, and then the head and feet were a different color than that. I like that until I tried this, and now I'm so into how it kind of looks like stripes. Really into that. Okay, I sold 4 caterpillars over the markets. I didn't make very many. It's a new pattern to me. I'm really happy with that number. So that made me really happy. And like I said, I had 1 snail that I took. It sold immediately. So happy with that turnout. Okay, now we've got chickens and ducks. Okay, so this is the infamous Mabel chicken pattern. So I took so many colors of this Mabel chicken. These are also great to take on the go. I can whip them up when I'm sitting in the pickup line at school. It's summer now, so that is irrelevant, but it worked out well. I took, this has sparkle. So I took yellow sparkle, white sparkle, and pink sparkle. White sparkle sold the best. I also, this is a white sparkle one. Also, okay, I made my niece one of these, and I had put a teeny tiny hair bow on it, and I think I'm gonna start doing that on these just to make them like a little bit different. A lot of people take Mabels to markets, which is totally fine. I still sold so many of these chickens, even though other people took them. So I just tried to pick colors that were maybe less typical. So I don't want anybody to feel like I'm copying them. I know there's a lot of crochet vendors around me, so I don't want to step on anybody's toes. These are just so fun. They're so cute, but I did try to set myself apart a little bit with the color. I also took plain white, taupe, a soft pink, and it was a white and tan variegated yarn. I don't know if I have any of those left. Yeah, here's one. Okay, so this kind of, okay, so white sparkle, this, taupe, and light pink. Those were, and all white. Those were the most popular colors I took. The bright colors did less well. I still sold them, but they just weren't as popular as these. These Mabel chickens I would consider a best seller for me this season. Okay, now we're gonna talk about ducks. This is the first time I had tried amigurumi before these markets started, and I'd never really done plushies before. I hadn't really ever used blanket yarn before. It was really intimidating to me. Now I'm like super into it, but Della Duck pattern. So I took 2 white Della Ducks to the first market. One had a headband, one did not. I almost didn't take them. I was very nervous about embroidering the eyes on. It was one of the first things that sold. So I'm really glad I took them. I wouldn't be able to call them a bestseller because I only had 2, but I sold the 2 I had and they sold right away. So at the next market, I sold a mallard. At the next market, I can't remember if I think I sold a duck that day too, but I can't remember what color it was. And then I had also made, so this white sparkle yarn, I had made a duck with this and it had a flower crown. It was really cute. It finally found a home. And then I also made these mallards. They have not found a home yet. They're gonna go to the store where I sell on consignment. I'm obsessed with the mallard. It makes me so happy. This is maybe my favorite pattern that I've done so far with the loveys. I like it a lot. They're fun to batchwork. So you do the feet, just the feet, and then you add the legs on. But I had like 8 pairs of these feet, so it's just like a triangle. And my daughter was like, are those chips? Like she thought I was crocheting tortilla chips or something. I thought that was really funny. Excuse me. So that's these. I love them. Highly recommend the Della Duck pattern from Shop Moth Threads. Again, I don't know if I can call it a bestseller because I sold like, hundreds of bows. These take a lot longer. So they did really well. I liked them. I'm definitely going to do them again. What's next? Flowers? Let's do flowers, fish, and frogs. Okay. So flowers. These are groovy flowers and the pattern is made by Raven Jade Co. I love making these. I might have spoke too soon. This is probably my favorite pattern that I've tried. I absolutely love the flower people. This is one of the first ones that I made. I did a batch where all of the centers were yellow, and then later I tried some other colors. They both sold really well. So highly recommend these. They're fun and easy to whip up. Again, the petals, the arms and legs are really easy to batch. So I say, yes, they are good market prep friends. Fish. This was new to me. I think I took them to the 3rd and 4th market, but I didn't have them for the first 2 markets. I love this little fish pattern. Super fun to whip up. I like it because it's the same thing. Like, you can kind of memorize the pattern, but then you can get creative with the different colors. Like, I did some where each stripe was a different color. I did it where, so this is 2 rounds. I did each round a different color on some of them. So they were really fun. I liked them. They sold okay. They were kind of hidden at this last market just because things were so squished. I had such a small space, but I thought they did really well. I liked it a lot. I liked making these a lot. And then the leggy frog, the famous leggy frog. Everybody makes the leggy frog. They sold well. Even though lots of people make them, it sold well. I did them in mint, blue, green, pink. I did them in so many colors. They all did well. I can't say one did better than the other. I made several over the weeks. I only have 2 left, so I definitely recommend these. And maybe in different sizes. This is the only size I made because I wanted something bigger, but I had some kids say that they wanted like little teeny keychain frogs for like on their backpacks and stuff. So I don't know if I'll ever get into the keychain thing, but these were popular. They're fun to make. So yeah, I think that's it for inventory. So now I want to talk a little bit about how each market was different and kind of what my goals were for the season overall. So last year I went to a couple of markets. I had 0 plan and I had 0 expectations. I was just like, I want to see what happens. I want to try markets. So I didn't track things as well. I don't really know how much I made at either of the markets I went to last year. And I wanted to be more intentional about that this year. And I was. I kept track of my inventory. I kept track as people were buying things, all this stuff. So that way I had a better idea of what sold well, what I want to do better, and I was able to notice things like this was displayed differently, it didn't sell as well, or it did better. So I was able to make those comparisons. I also wanted to use this as a trial and error season, and what I mean by that is I wanted to try different kinds of markets that were at different venues, that had different demographics, so that I could kind of see what was best for the audience I was trying to reach. So I went to one big market that I had gone to in the fall. This was their spring show. I went to a pop-up at a brewery. I went to a new market that they had never had a spring show before. There was no entry fee and it was outdoors. The other 2 were indoors. And then I went to an indoor market in a big city where the entry fee was the most I'd ever paid. It was like $160 or something like that. So they were all very different. I learned something different at all of them. And now we're going to talk about it. Okay. So market number 1, I was inside on a dirt floor. The marketing is excellent for this market. They have a really strong following of people that come to the early bird. They line up outside to get in. So it was great. They do a really great job at this market. They come around with bottles of water. You can have food delivered to your booth if you aren't able to leave. They do a really good job taking care of their makers. Everybody that comes seems to have a really good time. I like this market a lot. So I went to the fall one and then I went to the spring one. I was in a different building. My displays were a little different. The first time I went, the bags were the best seller. This time around, that was not the case. I sold a lot of hair bows, and the feedback that I got from people was that they were hesitant to buy the patterned fabric bows because they don't always match outfits. So that was really good feedback to get. I added more plain fabric bows, and honestly, I really liked the way my display looked after I did that. So definitely listen to what people are telling you, ask for feedback. So that was really good. It was a 10 by 10 space. I took a 6-foot table, a 4-foot table, and my clothing rack, and a plant stand, like a bamboo plant stand. That's what I made my display with. Oh yeah, that was the very first one where I took the ducks and I almost didn't take them. So I'll go ahead and put some video of my setup for this market in here. So this is the first time I had crocheted amigurumi and loveys, so my setup was pretty different than previous years, and for this market you can go down the day before and set up, which was super helpful just to make the morning of the market feel like it went a lot smoother. Okay, market number 2. Market number 2 was at a brewery. Most of the shows I go to are a little further away from me. I've not done any shows right in my community or around where I'm at, just because the opportunity hasn't been right, or like the timing hasn't been right. So this is one where I was like, I really want to try a market that's close to where I am. And there is a market in Columbus, Ohio, and they do these pop-ups at Brewdog, and it's very like artist focused. It's really cool. I thought maybe this would be something like that. It wasn't. I won't do this one again. It wasn't really my demographic. They had a lot of, well, I don't want to say a lot of vendors. They had vendors there. A lot of them were not handmade. They were like pop-up shops. So I think the people coming were just like, it wasn't the audience I was trying to reach. I still made my vendor fee back. I made money on top of that. I still profited by going, but I probably won't do it again. Let's see, what else did I write down for that? Yeah, that was it. Pretty simple. I showed up, I crocheted a snail while I was there, I drank a beer, we came home, made some money. So here's some footage for market number 2. This space was a little oddly shaped, so this is how I utilized my tables. Okay, market number 3. Market number 3 was an outdoor market. I had a 10 by 10 space. The only outdoor market I did last year, I borrowed someone's canopy, and this year I was like, I really like to get my own canopy. I want to be able to do more outdoor markets. So I ordered one on Amazon, and I think it arrived while we were there. It did not come in time. So, I mean, that was my fault. I should have ordered it sooner, but it is what it is. So I had gone to Walmart and I got like an Ozark Trail, or my husband went to Walmart and got an Ozark Trail canopy. We put it up. It did fine. We had the circle weights. It was an incredibly windy day, and those little circle weights, I think they're only 5 pounds each, and they were still really helpful. I want to keep those, and I want to get like the sandbag weights. So I would like to be able to do both. So this time, the new items I took were the fish, the sitting bee, the snail, and then I had that duck lovey with the flowers. It all sold. I mean, the duck lovey with the flowers didn't sell. I did say that, but I did sell other. Oh, I took a Tessa toad that was Mama Made Minis. I'll put a picture in. I loved this thing, and I was like, I don't know if anybody's gonna buy it. It took me a long time to make, so I did have to charge a little bit more for it, but I thought it was so cute. I was so happy with it, how it turned out, and someone did buy it at that market. So that like sent me over the moon. I loved it. It did seem like the organizers are small business owners themselves, and they created this market because they wanted one to go to and to participate in. This was my favorite market I did this season. I felt like included. I felt like everybody was really friendly and supportive of each other, and I hope they continue to do it, because it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, I felt like I had found my people. So I was like really happy about that one. This was my favorite one that I did. I think overall it was the best one I did too, but by a small margin. So here is some footage from market number 3. This market was a 10 by 10 outdoor space, so I was able to use all of my fixtures. I was able to have the bows on the panels, and I even brought in an end table, and I think it ended up being a blanket. I went and looked for a tablecloth, but it didn't work. I found a blanket, and I was able to put the shell of fish on it. I thought it turned out really cute. So, market number 4. This is the last one that I went to. It was just a couple of days ago from when I'm filming this. I, at this point, had basically made myself sick with stress, trying to make sure I had enough inventory for the markets, making sure the tablecloths were washed, making sure we like packed up in time, we had change, all the things. And I basically just like quit taking care of myself. I hadn't painted my nails, I hadn't been doing my skincare, I wasn't doing any yoga, like I just wasn't taking good care of myself. I wasn't giving myself enough space in the day just to have space in the day. It was like, so I work a part-time job in addition to doing this. And it was like, go to a market on Saturday, the next day I had to work. And so that was one of the things I learned overall, was that I need a decompression day, at least one, because it's really draining for me to do I have so much fun. I love doing these markets, but energetically it's draining for me to be in front of people all day like that. So, this market was 3.5 hours away from our house. And so we needed to like get up at 4 so that we could leave by 5. And I basically didn't sleep. I was sick in the night. I couldn't sleep. My stomach hurt so bad. So the drive down was like kind of rough. This is not a city we're very familiar with. Getting there, it was okay. We were able to find it okay, but it's just stressful to go into a city where you don't know all the one-way streets and yada yada. So we got in there, it was okay, got set up, that was fine. It was a much smaller space. I did a mock setup at home, which I will put footage of in here. For this market, I had an 8-foot by 3-foot space. They offered to have an 8-foot table there for you, set up and ready, but I didn't have table coverings that would work for an 8-foot table, and it was going to be really hard for me to visualize what that would look like with all of the different fixtures and things. So I decided to take a 4-foot table, my bamboo plant stand, and a kid's coat rack that I would use for purses. So I did this mock-up at home. That way I didn't take anything extra. I knew exactly how I wanted it set up. I took video and pictures, so the morning of the market I was able to reference those and set it up just the way I wanted. When I do a mock setup like that, I try and take lots of pictures. That way when I get to the venue, I can pull the pictures up and be like, okay, this is exactly where I wanted this to go, and then I can tweak things. This market, it seemed like, so this is a very established market. They've had it for lots of years. It seemed like every vendor that had been there historically was like, this was really slow, foot traffic was really down. I was really excited to see how this one went as a learning experience, because it was downtown in a big city. So I was like, you know, the foot traffic might be a lot more. There was a sports stadium right next to where we were, so a lot of people were out walking around downtown. There's a lot of restaurants. It's a pretty cool city, so like there's a lot of people. This market had a lot of like artisans, a lot of people selling art prints, a lot of people selling pottery. And to be honest, when I got there and like set up and I walked around, I was really feeling very self-conscious, because I don't know if I would like consider myself an artist. I'm a crafter, I'm a creator, but I just don't know if I would consider myself an artist. I don't know if that's wrong of me or not. Maybe, again, that's just like self-consciousness. It was just like a lot of comparison. So at the start of it, I was feeling really down, and like I wanted to be excited to be there, but I just wasn't sure if I should be there, and that felt really icky. I will talk about what kind of came out of that eventually, but just so we can kind of recap the market itself, I did okay. I made my vendor fee back. I made a profit on top of that. Some of the other people, I think, did not make their vendor fee back. So I think in comparison to some of the other people, like I did well for the day. With the foot traffic the way it was, I did well for the day. I don't know if I would try this one again. They're having one, it's on Small Business Saturday, so the Saturday after Thanksgiving. If I apply and get into that one, I would consider going back to try one more time, especially in holiday shopping season. So I'm just not sure if I would do this one again. I'm kind of torn about it. I think it was a good experience. I did learn things, especially that I need to continue to take care of myself, because that's what happens when you stop doing that. And it made the day a lot harder. So, okay, now let's talk about the market season overall, takeaways, feedback I got from people. Let's go. Before I get into takeaways, I just wanted to share what that smaller setup looked like the day of the market. I was happy with it for the most part. I do feel like it was a little bit maybe overcrowded. The loveys were a higher ticket item that I was really proud of, and I had them on the bottom of the plant stand, so they just weren't as visible, and I think they maybe would have sold better had they been up higher. The bees were a new item for me, all the little ones. They sold out. I don't think I had any pictures to share when I did inventory recap. So that's what those looked like, and we've talked about how the bows were displayed, but that's what they look like in the acrylic organizers. Okay, so that last market that I talked about, how I said I kind of felt like maybe my branding wasn't strong enough, maybe I wasn't strong enough, maybe my products weren't good enough to be there. So I wanted to take a second to really think about what direction I want the business to go in. So a couple of things that I did were really helpful. So branding colors. This is a little off topic, but we're gonna rein it back in. Okay, so branding colors, you're supposed to have 3. I was trying to use many more than 3, and I think that was just making me feel confused about. So for instance, I would go shopping for yarn, fabric, and I would buy things that I thought they were part of my branding colors, but then I would get it all back together, and it looked okay together, but it didn't look the way I wanted it to look. And so there was a little bit of disconnect between what I wanted and what I was executing. And so what I did was I put together a Pinterest board, and it was basically a photo dump. Okay, this is how I love to make Pinterest boards and photo vision boards, things like that. Okay, so I go through Pinterest, and if I like something, I pin it and I put it in a catch-all board. I don't overthink it. If it strikes my fancy, if it brings me joy, if it sparks joy, it's going in the board. And then from there, once I have a ton of pins on the catch-all board, I go through and I look for commonalities between them. And so that might look like, okay, a lot of these have light colored wood. A lot of them have the color blue. A lot of them feel this way when I look at it. A lot of them have this specific animal in it, whatever. So I did that, and then from the catch-all board, I create a mood board or a vision board with the specific items that seem to be repetitive, that I consistently liked and pinned. So that was really helpful to get a more specific idea of what I wanted things to look like. And something else I did was I decided on my 3 main branding colors. They were the ones I used most often. They look complementary of each other. I really like them as like my starting place. And then I created swatches of colors that were in a lot of the pens, colors that I knew I could get fabric and yarn in that color. Hold on, Winnie needs in his house. Okay, sorry. So I put together swatches of colors. So I have my branding colors, and then I have product colors. The product colors are complementary of the branding colors, and they, in my opinion, are also complementary of people's nursery decor and home decor. The reason that is important is because through the shows, I was noticing that a lot of people were picking neutrals, things that would be versatile, things for baby showers. So I use a lot of bright colors. I love bright colors. I think kids love bright colors, but I think they maybe are a little bit less appealing to the people that would be purchasing for the kids. And I totally get it. When my kids were little, I wanted everything to be like muted and dusty colors. And my daughter came out and she was like, if it's not hot neon pink, I have no interest. So like, you know, I've been trained by my kids, you know, to let more of the bright colors in. But initially everything was like, you know, on a palette. So, I want to incorporate more neutrals and things that are complementary of nursery decor, home decor, or are trending colors for people purchasing and not just for the kiddos, because I think I can do both. So it was really, really helpful. So I made the like palette of product colors. So when I went to buy fabric and I went to buy yarn, I could reference and be like, okay, yeah, that totally works. That totally fits. Or like, does this look too outside the box? Do I think it's okay to go outside the box sometimes? Absolutely. I will continue to do that occasionally. But when I am setting up at a market and I want really strong branding and I want people to walk away from my booth remembering who I was, remembering what they could find from me, I want a really strong brand message. So that was really, really helpful as I was putting inventory together with some of the later markets, and it will definitely be helpful when I am prepping for fall winter markets this year. So the next thing, let's see. Oh, okay. So I talked about how I was feeling self-conscious, how I wanted to be more involved, maybe like in my community or go to more community events. So I just want to be included. And I wanted to go to some of these markets because they seemed cool. I did not take a lot of time to think about like, okay, who's going to be showing up for these markets? Is my demographic actually going to be there? Will it be worth my time and worth the stress of all of it to go to this specific market? So I think as I move forward, I'm going to think a little bit harder about not only do I want to go to this market, does it seem exciting, but also, is this the right market for my business, for my brand? I think I was missing a little bit of that piece just because I really wanted to be included. I really wanted to try new things, and that's fine. I learned stuff, and now I know what to look for when I'm looking at markets. So it was really helpful to have this season where I was just trying different things. For displays, I think I want to get a second 6-foot table. I want to make sure the bows are displayed out individually so people can put their own sets together and see them really well. And I need some vertical display space for levies. I have some ideas, but nothing concrete yet. I can't decide if I want to do clips or like a curtain rod. I don't know. I'll share it when I figure it out. The other thing is that I would really like to have a checkout stand that like folds up and that I can store. So like the hair bows especially need replenished often. So something where I have easy access to a tote that has those things in it so that I can replenish things as they sell easier. It's hard to pull the tote out from under the table. You gotta move all the chairs and like the whole thing. So it would be really nice, I think, to have a checkout stand. So those are a couple of things I'm thinking about for displays. I need to continue self-care as I am market prepping. I think part of what happened was that last year, I had more limited offerings. Like I didn't have any of the crocheted friends last year, and I didn't decide to start making those for markets until it was market season. So I didn't have a lot built up. So I think it will be easier this fall and winter to have those things built up, so I'm not like rushing to get them done. And it will be easier on me personally to feel less pressure to get those things done. So I'll still be able to, you know, continue with self-care and like have a better work-life balance, because that was not the case this season. So I think that will be easier with time. You don't know how hard it's going to be until you know how hard it is. No matter how much you prep or anticipate, you don't know until you know. So I think I'll be able to do better about that in the future. So like continuing to take care of myself and taking the day, at least the day after the show, off to decompress, to get my life back in order, get the inventory put away, that kind of thing. The other thing is that a lot of people were buying my items for gifts. So right now I have this oblong tag that has my logo on it, and then I have a square tag that has a logo on it. So I think what I'm gonna do, this is Back to Eden Crochet is a YouTuber and a maker that I follow, and she gets her logo printed on business cards, and on the back she does like care instructions, and she gets two to a business card. So she puts the logo at the top and logo at the bottom, and then when they come in, she cuts them in half. So it's 2 tags per business card. So I'm going to do that because right now I don't have any care instructions on the tag, and I really want to do that, especially if you're gifting it. So I want to have my logo on the front, care instructions on the back, and then I want to cut another piece of plain white cardstock the same size as the business card tag, and that's what has the price on it. That way you can take the price tag off, but the person receiving the gift still knows where it came from and they know how to take care of it. So that's one change I want to make for the markets later on this year, and I'm really excited about that. The other thing is that I had business cards that I would put in everybody's bag as they checked out, or I tried to. I wasn't very good about it, to be honest. I forgot a lot of them, but that's what I was trying to do. And I want to print off little thank you flyers, basically, that have like a QR code and maybe a discount code for if they order online or the next time they come to a show. So I think that will be a more inexpensive way to make sure people walk away with a way to remember me. And the business cards, I have more at the end of the show because I ended up giving out a lot of them. They're not that expensive, it's not a big deal, but I just think something bigger that has more information on it, a better chance to let people know who I am and what to expect from me and where they can come back to when they want to. Yeah, so that was spring market season for 2024. I'm really happy with what I learned. I'm really happy with how I did. I'm really happy with how I'm feeling now that I've had a couple of days to kind of get back into my normal routine and take a little bit of a break. I did crochet yesterday, even though it was not going to work. I went ahead and crocheted, but when I felt done making what I was making, I just put it away and I just, hung out. So that was really nice. I'm excited for fall, winter season. I feel like I have a really clear idea of what I want to do. Very excited to execute it. So that's where I'm at with that. If you watched all the way through, leave me a comment. Let me know what market you're going to next. If you have any feedback or takeaways from the ones you've gone to maybe so far this year or last year that you want to share with me, I would love to hear anybody's advice and feedback. So if you like this style of video, let me know. I did plan to do vlog style videos in the future and like market day vlogs, so I might try that later on and we can kind of compare and contrast which one do we like better. So thanks, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's just there as an option. But thank you for being here. I will see you in the next one. Bye.